Well, hello. I'm very glad to see you here and to have this conversation. We are talking about this recording for a long time, and finally we are here, and I'm very glad.
Thank you so much for your invitation, Lara. I'm really honored and pleased to be here today with you.
You know that at the beginning of each conversation within this podcast, I'm asking my guest the same question. I will ask you how you would like to tell about yourself now, and especially for people who might be listening to you for the first time.
Sounds like an easy and very common question, but it's indeed a difficult one. I would say that I'm a founder and CEO of consulting and coaching agency, Be Change. I'm executive leadership and business coach. I'm a volunteer. I'm a leader. I'm a community member. I'm a Ukrainian. And since we will be exploring the phenomenon of love today, in a conclusion, I dare say that I'm love.
I remember that statement. When we had another conversation, we were speaking in Ukrainian, but even before, you said that you want to create more love at every place, at any time where you are coming to, and you are defining yourself. And you already mentioned that we are going to talk about love today. And we are discussing this topic in Ukrainian for another podcast. What is making this topic critically important for you, especially now at the moment of your life where you are now?
It may sound naive, but I have this inner calling, inner urge to create more love and to live more love in this life, and to live more love in this life after me living it, and everything will perish. But love will stay, it will last. It will last in my family, in teams, in companies, in communities I belong to, in words that I share, and in my heritage. So as simple as it is, Lara.
You know that the simple things are not the simple. They are very complex, and they are very deep, and they are very meaningful. When I decided to start recording conversations under the one topic umbrella, Window of Mastery, I said it will be conversations with people whom I love, whom I trust, whom I value very much, whom I have known for many years or might be making the new connections recently. It will be about very simple things in life, which we are redefining and rediscovering much deeper meaning. Thank you for your willingness to have this exploration and discovery about love. And we'll go deeper and we'll dive into exploring love. But before, what is your definition of mastery?
I'm smiling, Lara. I will start with the question, who is master? And what is the master? And to me, this is the essence of life and source of life. And people may call it God, highest power, enigma. So acquiring mastery is living to the fullest our lives. And mastery is about our ability to be life ourselves. And I humbly will share that I'm a Christian. So to me, master is the Christ, and mastery is about being a Christian.
Thank you for your openness, and thank you for bringing another level of this conversation, which for me is really deep. It's about spiritual being, spiritual understanding of the richness of life, which love is the driving force. I don't remember the exact lines from Corinthian. Love always prevails. Love always wins? What do you think? How it's happening?
I do remember these words. It's one of the most favorite verses in the Holy Scripture. So I will recite it, Lara. Love is patient. Life is kind. It doesn't envy. It doesn't boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It's not self-seeking. It's not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And I cannot answer your question better than these verses from Corinthians.
If I may ask, how these verses are showing up in your life? Professional, personal, family, social? How this wisdom is manifesting itself?
Let me share a few examples, a few observations that love never fails and love will win, life will win. There the weekend, there was a tornado notice in the area where I live in West Virginia, and it was a bit scary. But next morning, after rain and storm, there was sun and there was rainbow. So life wins in nature. Another example, which is very deep in my heart and in my soul, comes from the times when my family was living in Ukraine when war started on February 24th of 2022. And we were sitting in the car with the kids, and there was a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. And we were standing in the line of cars to cross the Polish border. And we were sleeping just a few minutes a day, and we were tired. And I remember that morning, again, sitting in the car and watching how sun was rising. And at that very moment, I had another confirmation that it doesn't matter what will happen afterwards. Will we live? Will we die? But there will be another sunset, another sunrise, day after day. And it is up to me in that particular moment to do what I can to share my love with my family, with my kids, with others who were next to us. I just thought that another example which I could share comes from my work environment and intention to create teams and context in which people may grow, may develop, may bring their best to work. It's another example of how love could be lived and could show.
I was listening to you, and I remember our conversation about love in Ukrainian. And because we know each other, and we had many joint stories, different ones. Maybe I was sharing some stories with you already, but I just recalled one which is very dear for me. When our mom passed away, we came home to the memorial service, and you know that Ukrainian traditions are very strict what should be done from the day 1 to day 3, day 9, day 40s. And I remember when my older brother and I opened the bag that mom prepared, and everything within that bag was with a very short piece of papers. Everything was written by mom. To do this, or this thing should be given. For me, it was the moment of unconditional love that I don't know if I can imagine, because I haven't started preparing doing the same things for my daughter to make her life much easier. But I was thinking our mom was doing it, thinking about us and loving us. And even when she was not with us physically, her love was with us. And she was helping us to feel less stressful and more grounded by giving her instructions in written ways. At that moment, I was feeling the presence of love in the most unexpected ways, but this is how love is manifesting.
Lara, thank you so much for sharing and reminding. And very often it shows in very small things. I just thought listening to you about examples of how my middle daughter shows her love. She would just write word love in her very nice handwriting and leave it on my desk, or make a small nice thing, or my husband could prepare a cup of coffee and share it with me. So it's also small things which matter and which show love.
I think there is no such thing like big or small when it's coming to love. The tiniest gesture of love is valued like the biggest way of expression of love. I think it's not possible to measure big or small, impressive or ordinary things or practices or even routines we have in our life. I think everything is love. Everything can be love if we can look at this in that way. If we have the optics, like eyeglasses, through which we are looking at life. It's my understanding.
Resonate with me a lot. I was thinking about lens love as well. So basically it's about intent which stands behind that action.
May I ask you, Ola, who did teach you and still teaching you how to love in life, in business, in community, in the world?
Life itself, which is love itself. God, my family, my husband, my kids, my parents, my godparents, my friends, my co-workers, my colleagues, you, and everybody and everything teaches me love in many different ways. And sometimes those ways step into the best parts of me, and they take me to the highest heights. And sometimes they teach me hard ways when I encounter my shadows and go into the deep depths of myself. And I'm laughing, you know, this story about how I learned through going into the deep depths of myself in my family. My kids have this funny thing about how they let me know that I'm reaching my shadows, my dark depths. And for you who don't know me, I'm originally coming from part of Ukraine where we used to speak Russian, where we had to speak Russian. And when I get very emotional, I can start using Russian words. So when I start using Russian words, it means that I'm really angry and I'm tapping into the ceiling of my love. And in those moments, kids would say, "Oh, mom, it's red coat, VAM, very angry mom." So in this silly, funny way that let me know that I'm tapping into this dark depths of myself. And then it's a chance for me to stop and to reflect and to explore ways of how I could bring more love, even in those emotionally heated and difficult situations. So coming back to your question, it's everything and everyone.
And your children are brave enough to say, VAM, very angry mom. And they are teaching you, yeah, definitely, how to love in the way just to point. Red zone. It's necessary to stop and reflect, mom. Yeah.
Yep, they are really brave.
Yeah, love is brave and compassion at the same time. Now I think it's possible to make the bridge from love to leadership. what and how they are connected for you. And in your point of view, maybe not only for you, but for those whom you are working with. You have your podcast, Leadership Kitchen, how love and leadership are connected. And there is any recipe of love in leadership?
Leadership and love may sound as if they're different, but to me, they're very connected. And on a very superficial level, both love and leadership start with letter L. So you may say that love and leadership are the ends of the same phenomenon. So, like, two strokes you have to make to put a letter L. So it takes leadership and love to create a life. And I may say that to me, leadership is also the way to manifest love. And love is in the heart of leadership. And both you and me, and actually, I think that you enhance my ability to play this word. And when I was playing this word love and word leadership, I found out one interesting thing, which I dare share with you. There are 6 letters, which are taken from those words, and the letters are A, C, T, I, V, E, active. So for leadership to be true, it shall be active. And for love to be true, it shall be active. And behind each letter, there is a word which explains in what ways leadership and love may manifest themselves. So behind A, there is the word appreciation. So true leaders, true love, appreciate those and that which it encounters. T stands for communicate. Both leadership and love communicate itself, connects with others, translate itself into the world. T stands for trust. And it's a solid foundation, both for leadership and for trust. I stands for impact. Both leadership and love creates long-lasting impact. V stands for vulnerability, courage to show itself, both for leadership and for love. And in the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned that it takes vulnerability to be willing to explore this topic in a way in which we explore it today. And E stands for empathy. Empathy for those who are next to you. So even though they may sound and may seem as different phenomena, they have very much in common. And to me, there is no true leadership with no love, and no love if there is no leadership in it.
Actually, by explaining the word through unpacking the meaning of letters, I love this. I love that way,
I do too.
I love this because it's possible to unpack the meaning and to make the meaning colorful and multi levels, and also to see the new meaning, to define the new meaning by connecting different things, even obvious, but to define the new aspects or to look at through new angles and the words we know. And I recall the recent conversation, the podcast conversation I recorded with Marlene Thomas, the immediate past president of ICF Metro DC Charter Chapter, and we are talking about partnership in action. And the first conversation was focused on coaching and leadership, and we are talking about leadership lessons. And she asked, Larissa, what are your leadership lessons? I look at the leadership lessons through unpacking the meaning of leader. Again, if you look at the vertically, what leader is, who is leader? And the first letter L stands for love. To love people whom you are caring about, whom you're taking responsibilities to bring together and do something together and define the vision and create the way to get to that vision. The next letter E, it's energy, because leader is always bringing energy to every place, to any place and every place, to any task and every task, to any interactions and every interactions. And then the next one, A, it's to be aware. It's about awareness, to be aware about what is your love as a leadership position, as a leadership driver, and what is your energy. To be aware, to define the way, what is the best way to reach the goals, because leadership is about making changes, it's about creating new things, it's about taking responsibilities and moving forward, and define the courage. And another E is about exploration, or to explore the new ways, because when we are making new ways towards something, we are taking the lead. When we are making the way by using the previous roads, I don't think that it's really true leadership. It can be called in different ways. And also relationships, because leaders are people who are building, who are creating, nurturing, building, making stronger relationships. Everything is about relationships. And then relationships is about love. But it's interesting to look at the love. The first letter L, I was thinking maybe it's about leading. No, it's about learning. Love is always teaching, and love is always the way to learn new things. And openness, to be open, love is opening many doors, many opportunities, many connections, many hearts and souls. And E, it's about energy. So I can see very strong correlations between leadership and love. And thank you for being here to explore more connections and to make more connections.
Thank you for sharing your meaning behind leader and love.
No, there are many correlations and interconnections and intersections. As to me, the most interesting things are happening on the intersections, either in professional way, in communication, in relationships, in innovative areas, when we see new connections. So the real creativity is showing up. I think love is a very creative force, very creative energy. Speaking about love, passion, and profession, what is here for you?
What's here for me? Lara, I would invite us to imagine 3 bubbles. One would stand for love, another one for passion, and the other for profession. And when they intersect, as you mentioned earlier, or when they integrate, new meanings, new senses arise. So when love and profession intersect, integrate, I believe then that commitment is born there. When passion and profession overlaps, intersect, integrate, then enthusiasm is born there. And when love and passion intersect, then intimacy is born there. So this commitment, enthusiasm, and intimacy tap into the source of life. And to take us even deeper, these 3 overlapping bubbles would be forming a bigger circle. And interestingly, if we look at these 3 words, love, profession, and passion, there is one letter which is the same in all their words, which is O. So to me, this love, profession, and passion create this circle. And circle is a very interesting and strong character figure. we might say that it's sacred space, circle, yeah, where we can tap into the divine and spiritual forces. Circle could be a community which embraces where we belong to. This figure is also very fluid, so it lasts all the time. So through love, profession, and passion, to me, we tap into the source of life. And we are living our calling when these three things, three phenomena integrate. And I'm happy to share, and I'm happy to believe that I have a chance to live my life in a way that love, passion, and profession integrate, and I can tap into this source of life.
At the beginning, you mentioned about the tornado and the rainbow after the tornado. And now I'm thinking love has a polarity, or maybe polarities. What kind of polarities you can see, and how do you manage such polarities in life? Love and polarities of love.
Polarity of love would be hate, and you know the story, Lara. I've shared it with you that to me, one of the darkest moments and hardest moments when was the war started in Ukraine, and full invasion. War started much earlier, so full invasion started in February of 2024, and I knew how important to me it is to spread love, to create love, to support life in creating more love. And I had this question to myself: how could I love Russia? How could I love Russian people? And it was, at times, it is painful and hard journey, especially when there are losses happening. But at some point, an understanding came that for life to be bigger than death, for love to be bigger than hate, there shall be forgiveness. Not forgetfulness, but it's about forgiving, but not forgetting.
It's very challenging.
But coming back to what I shared humbly and intimately in the beginning, being a Christian, I know that I was forgiven and I am forgiven. And what I can do in return is to forgive, even though it might be and it is very hard.
Thank you for being who you are and sharing openly what you were experiencing, what you were thinking, and what you were feeling, and how you are looking at love with connections to what is not love. I'm not thinking that there are polarities. Definitely, the polarities is absence of love. And the space where love is absent can be filled with anything else: anger, rage, hate, criticism, and other things, maybe not so strong. But love will find a way to show up, probably in the most difficult ways, and maybe most unexpected ways. But you mentioned about forgive but not forget, to take lessons, to understand what happened and what were the circumstances and what were the prices. Maybe it's another topic we can discuss. Another question which is coming to the stories, but not to the stories specifically. If you would be writing a book about love, what would be the title of this book?
Lara, you don't see me, but I'm smiling. And to me, this book has been written already, and it's Holy Scripture. But at the same time, you know that I have this inner urge to write a book about love. And most probably, its title would be about love and life, and how to build in life so that love would last. How to create and build families that last, relationships that last, teams that last, businesses that last. And I wish myself one day I take time to write that book and to share.
And maybe we can do something together.
I'm for it.
Yeah, and from the book, which will be written, I hope it will happen sooner than later. The question I want to ask, and you know that this question will show up in every episode of this podcast. If you have a chance to speak to entire world, and you know that the entire world is listening to you, really listening to you, what is your story about love you want to share?
It will be story of Holy Gospel again, Lara, and it will be story of hope, faith, love, and wisdom. And this story is so deep, multi-dimensional, which evolves all the time, which lasts. So I would just stop here and invite everybody and myself as well to explore that story so that we have more love in our lives.
Thank you for this invitation, and I hope that the story will be the opening for the future book.
Yes, I do, and to new stories in my life as well. Again, I dare share. I'm too vulnerable today, Lara, I think, but you know this calling of mine. I've started Christian life coaching certification, so I hope that through this I'll have a chance to bring even more love to life.
I remember when I shared with you the information about Christian coaching, I knew that it would resonate because it's possible to connect coaching with different areas, professional and spiritual, and to define the way how to lead your life through new connections. I wish you to complete this program and to bring more life to what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you, Ola, for being with me, for being with our listeners within this space of the podcast Window of Mastery. You know that I feel connected to you, to your stories, and we have many things to discuss and many things to share and many things to explore. I'm very grateful that you were here when we are exploring the meaning of love and we are looking at love through your professional, personal experience, through your glasses of love. And I hope our listeners will be benefiting by what you share honestly, truthfully, with deep love and compassion. And I want to say to our listener that I had the great privilege to host here and to talk to my dear friend and partner and co-leader in exploration what mastery is and what mastery and love are meaning for us. Thank you, Ola. And I hope you will be back to discuss another topics in this podcast.
Well, thank you so much for creating this window of mastery, this space where I could share vulnerably, being emphasized based on trust, and hopefully creating long-term impact with you today. So thank you so much.
And with your permission, Ola, I will share your contact so people who are listening to you would know where to go to find you and to talk to you and to share and maybe do something together.
Sure, Lara.
Thank you. And for our listeners, if you would like to be notified about the new podcast, new episodes, new conversations, you can subscribe, you can share your comments, and you can bring your questions and suggest topics to discuss for the next episode. Thank you. Stay tuned, stay connected. We'll come back very soon.